Hey guys, it's been a heatwave here and that's meant that it's been very difficult to make videos without feeling really ill in this tiny, very hot room. So, I decided that today, to get back into the swing of things, I thought we'll take a look at another one of my collections. And since we did the Mega Drive for the last collection look at, well, today we're going to do the Super Duper. And I do of course mean the Super Nintendo, the Mega Drive's rival. So, let's get straight into it. First up we have Blazing Skies, a World War II dogfighting game with some interesting dogfighting and also some top-down, so it's kind of a mixture of what you get here. You have some that are really good use of Mode 7 and it's fantastic to play, aside from the fact that the controls are so sensitive that it's really difficult to actually fly, which gives you kind of an idea of early flight. It does replicate that, but I'm not sure that was the intention or whether it's just really oversensitive. So it's a game of skill, definitely, but it's a lot of fun at the same time. So you have these Mode 7 effects where it's very much like Star Fox. She's looking at it from behind your aircraft, trying to maneuver around and fulfill various objectives, whether it's a dogfight or you're trying to do a bombing run on a train or a bridge or some trucks, or whether it's all done top down and it's more like 1942, you're trying to bomb a building to get rid of a munitions factory or something like that. You have a set number of pilots that you can use, and each one has different skills which makes them better suited for certain missions or really bad for others, but you won't know what your mission is until you've selected your pilot, so it's very much hot luck. But either way, it's actually a lot of fun game to play, and if you're into your flight games, I think you'll find something here that might tickle your fancy. Next up, we have the infamous Cannon Fodder. Now, this is an amazing conversion on the Super Nintendo. I can't believe how good this is. It feels just like the Amiga version that I used to play and the PC version. It is lacking the vocals for the intro tune, but the tune is there, which is alright. And actually, I remember on my PC version, I was always disappointed that the lyrics seemed to have gone from that as well. Perhaps that was just my sound card, it was an ad-lib rather than a Sound Blaster. I'm not entirely sure whether the Sound Blaster would have put the vocals in there, but the Amiga version certainly had it, and my goodness, that was a good tune. Cannon Fodder is one of those interesting anti-war games which really hammers home the pointlessness of so much in war and how easy it is to just die from an accident rather than just from enemy fire. I used to be very wary of going into missions because I didn't want to lose my guys. They were named, you could see them, and they'd gone up in rank as you played. They had experience, they had skills, they were your guys and you didn't want to lose them. So it was actually quite a heart-wrenching game at times, and I think anyone who played it back in the day would agree. It's the same thing now with stuff like XCOM. You name your character, and after that, you don't want that character to die. Well, these guys, you didn't want to lose Jules and Jobs, did you? Jules, Jobs, Stu and our team, you wanted to keep them alive for as long as you could. That's how it was. Still a good game now, still very easy to play, and looks great as well. What can I say? It's just brilliant. Cool Spot's a game that we reviewed very recently on Game Hammer Dailies. It is a brilliant platformer. It's a mascot platformer, but it's also kind of an advertainment game. It's an advert, but you wouldn't really know it's an advert if you were British at the time, because who saw the Cool Spot adverts on TV? I didn't. I watched a lot of TV at the time, and I didn't see the Cool Spot adverts. I did see Fido Dido, but he wasn't in this game. It's one of those oddities. It was an advert game that didn't really go out of its way to advertise, and as a result, it's actually a really good game. Great platforming, great visuals, brilliant soundtrack. I can't fault it. Give it a try, because actually, this is pretty damn good. Kid Clown in Crazy Chase is a weird game. You run down an isometric area, trying to avoid all kinds of hazards until you can kick a bomb out of the way to stop this bomber guy from blowing things up. I assume that you're supposed to rescue the princess at the same time because she's in the intro, and it's just a weird game. But graphically it's quite interesting. It's got a lot of good animation. The pratfalls that the clown ends up doing, inevitably ends up doing due to a variety of hazards, are really well done. There's a lot of visual comedy to his way of moving and his response to all the things that are going on screen. It's really well done. The sound isn't too bad either. It's typical for a cartoon of like the 50s, that kind of thing. It's actually really good, and I can't fault it as a game. I suppose it would need to change things up level to level, but I haven't really got past the second level. It's one of those games that I really need to sit down and have more time with, so we'll probably end up doing a review of it at some point, because what I have played I've really enjoyed, so I'm looking forward to trying some more. Lost Vikings is a game that I actually first encountered on the PC as a demo that came with a PC magazine that a friend bought. It was enticing even back then because it mixed an awful lot of aspects of games that I really loved at the time. It was a platformer, which I loved. It was a puzzle game, which I loved. It had great visuals, a great sound, even on the PC at the time, which wasn't common. Funnily enough, it wasn't all that common to have good visuals and good sound on a PC game in that era, the early 90s, because you tended to get one or the other. It wasn't a brilliant gaming system back then, I have to admit. Even though I loved my PC, it wasn't great at the time for games. So when I found the Lost Vikings on SNES not long ago, a few months back in fact, I had to get it the moment I saw it because I knew I wanted to play this game again. It's still brilliant. The need to use the different skills and abilities of the three Vikings together to solve puzzles is superb. The visuals are great. The comedy aspect of them all squabbling while trying to work together is still funny now. And it sounds amazing on the Super Nintendo, which of course you would expect because the SNES's sound system is superb. So all in all, it is an excellent package. I cannot recommend this enough. Give it a try if you like puzzlers or platformers, especially if you like both. I think you'll like it. Clock is one of those weird games that I have no idea what they were thinking when they came up with this. You play a red-headed guy with a yellow dress who is looking for a flag and throws his own limbs at all of his enemies, which means that you can only have 4 shots on screen at once, by the way, because if you fire off all of your limbs, you will just sit there on the ground until they come back. You can't jump, you can kind of move, but it's not very good. And you have to wait for your arms and legs to fly back to you because they're homing limbs. It's weird. It's really weird. It looks like a kid's game. It's bright, it's got jolly music, but it is hard as nails on certain sections. I love it. It's a hidden gem on the SNES. It's just brilliant. I cannot recommend this enough. It is a brilliant cartoon mascot-style platformer with an odd twist to it. You're looking for a flag, but every time you get to the end of a level, it's a pair of underwear that you launch up a flagpole, or a scarf, or something like that. You can't find your flag until you get to the end. It's a ridiculous game. I just think, what were they thinking? I don't know, but I love it all the same. Give it a try. Speaking of hard as nails games, Super Star Wars. I love this game. It is hard as nails, like I say, but it's great. It's so good. It has very little to do with Star Wars. It's kind of mostly set on Tatooine, and yet Luke Skywalker is a badass with his lightsaber and his gun. What? No, it didn't really follow the plot. However, you won't care. There are so many things that are so good about this game. The platforming is great. Yes, the enemies all respawn and it is really tough, but it's a great fun game either way, and the boss battles are pretty damn good. There's the speeder sections and other sections like that, which are like Mode 7, and it really shows off Mode 7 to its best, I think, without the use of a Super FX chip like in Star Fox. But it is so good. Look at this thing. It is brilliant. I cannot recommend this enough. I also can't say much about it that hasn't already been said. This game is well known and well loved for good reason. Give it a try. It's brilliant. That's all I can say about it. It is just brilliant. And now we come to the game that I actually bought a Super Nintendo for. Star Fox, or Star Wing as it was called in the UK due to issues with, we think Star Fox might be a Commodore 64 game, or was it, we think Star Fox might be misconstrued with Star Wars. It depends on which version of the game you got, Star Fox 64 or the original, but it's one of those things where they change the name to stop confusion or to stop a copyright infringement, even though they, come on guys, it's clearly a different game. Star Fox is the game that sold me on the Super Nintendo. I saw it on Games Master and I fell in love with this game immediately. However, I only knew 2 people who had a Super Nintendo. Neither of them wanted Star Fox, so it's like, how will I play this game? And then I found a Super Nintendo with Star Fox, Super Mario World and Super Mario Kart for sale at a card sale. So I picked that up at 15 quid. Wonderful deal there. 5 quid per game and you got the console free essentially. It was a great day when I first sat down and played this game, and I have not stopped playing it since. I love it. I'm still no good at it. As you can see from the footage here, I'm not very good. The controls are hard. It's one of those games where it's just not quite right because the controls just don't quite match up with what you think they're going to be on screen. It much improved in the sequel. However, this is still such a good game that even now, if you come and sit down to it, you will love it. It's the Super FX chip put to great use, and I cannot recommend it enough. In fact, I'm going to stop making all of these reviews and go and play Star Fox for a bit. So the next segment will be a little bit later because I want to play Star Fox. See ya! Now we come to Super Mario All-Stars, a remake of the first 3 Mario games plus the Lost Levels, the other version of Mario 2, the one that was in Japan but nowhere else because it's not as fun as it should be. It's a harder version of the original Super Mario Bros., which sounds all well and good for a sequel, but it just lacks a certain something. There's not as much fun in the game, and I can understand why it wasn't put out everywhere else. Doki Doki Panic Mario 2 is alright, but it is a very different game to the point where the first time I played it, I didn't realise that you had to pull up vegetables and throw them at the enemies. I tried jumping on the enemies' heads, and that doesn't work. But All-Stars is actually really good. It's a remake to the point where all of the graphics have been updated, the sound has been updated to take account of the excellent Super Nintendo sound chip, and as a result, it's a game that feels fresh even though it is 4 remake games. So you've got the original Super Mario Bros., which looks brilliant and plays fantastically. There are some control issues that I went into in more detail in my main review of the Super Mario Bros. A week or 2 ago now. My goodness, time flies. And as a result of that, it is a different experience. It's not a bad game, it's just slightly different to what you would expect. Super Mario Bros. 2 is Doki Doki Panic, as we've all talked about before. It's a fun game, it's very different, it plays very different to what you'd expect from a Mario game, but it is good. And if you come into it thinking, this isn't going to be like Mario Bros. As we know it, then you'll have a lot of fun. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, well, what can I say? It is Super Mario Bros. More, and it's harder, way harder. I don't actually like it. I think it's an unfair game at points. But if you're into that kind of platformer, then go ahead, have some fun. It looks good, sounds good. It's basically just a remastered version of the original, and it plays quite well. So go for it. The final one is Super Mario Bros. 3. Definitely my favourite of them. I bought a copy of the original on the Wii Virtual Console back in the day and loved it. Don't regret getting that. Got a remake here and it's just as good fun. Like I said before, great sound, great graphics, it looks wonderful, plays great. Not quite the same as the original. Again, some control issues, but for the most part, it is a very fun game and I think you will like it. It is, for me, the best of the bunch. So overall, All-Stars is a great package for great games. 2 of them exceptionally great games, the other 2 interesting. If you're not fully into Mario, you'll find those interesting, but you'll probably go back to 1 and 3, which is what I do. But if you're a real Mario aficionado, then 4 great games remastered. Can't go wrong with that. Oh my goodness, Super Mario Kart. The game that launched an entire genre of kart, combat-style kart racing. It is so good. It's still good now. I mean, I love Mario Kart, the series. I love it on the Wii. It's fantastic when people are around. You just hold the controllers and feels like you're driving. But the original game, my goodness, it might be retro, but it's great retro. And I love it so much. The graphics still look fantastic now. I used to play Wacky Wheels on my PC because I didn't have a Super Nintendo right back at the start, and that was a fun game. But every time you played Wacky Wheels, you were still wanting to play Mario Kart. I love it. I'm glad I have a copy. Play this every now and again just to try and keep my hand in, you know. And what can I say? I cannot fault this game. It is brilliant. Get a copy. It's well worth it. And last but not least, we come to Super Mario World, the Mario game for the Super Nintendo. It takes full advantage of the Super Nintendo's graphics and sound. The controls really, really well. There's nothing to fault with this game. I love it. When I first got my Super Nintendo, the first thing I did was play Star Fox, and then I played Super Mario Kart, and then I spent the rest of the day, in fact the rest of that weekend, on Super Mario World, because it's so good. Once you sit down and start playing, you don't want to stop. It is that good. I thoroughly enjoyed my time playing this. Can't believe that I missed out on the Super Nintendo until the mid-90s. I think when it was gone and the Nintendo 64 was coming in, that was when I got my Super Nintendo. So to be honest with you, I wish I got it a little bit earlier, but at the same time, then I would have missed out on Mega Drive. Is it the right thing? Get a push and shove, but either way, I love this game, and I'm so glad I finally got to play it relatively close to when it came out. And it's just so good. Been playing it ever since. It is one of those games that I keep coming back to because it doesn't matter whether you finished it or not, you will find something there to enjoy. And because there are secrets in it, I'm pretty sure that I've not found all of them. In fact, I am all of a sudden I haven't. There is always something new to find in this game. I love it. I think you'll love it. I know it's one of those that people have said is one of the great Mario games, and I can see why. Give it a try if you haven't already, or if you have, do what I'm going to do and go and play it now. Before I do go, I have to say something about the Super Game Boy. Now, it's not technically a Game Boy game, but it is part of my collection and a much loved part of it at that, because it means I can play my Game Boy games on the big screen, which is always useful. It's great. It's basically a Game Boy in a cart. Stick it in, stick the Game Boy game in, and you play Game Boy games on the big screen. But it's not just that, because there are Game Boy games that are enhanced for the Super Game Boy, which means they've got more colours, they've got nice borders. It makes gaming with them an awful lot nicer. And also, there are some, I think one comes to mind, and there may be others, that's Space Invaders, where it's basically a Super Nintendo game on a Game Boy cartridge because it is designed specifically to be a Super Nintendo game if you play it in the Super Game Boy. Which means that, yes, there are Game Boy games that are Super Nintendo games. So your collection isn't full unless you've got the Super Game Boy with those games. And that's my opinion anyway. I think other people might debate that quite violently. But that's how I see it. And as a result, I had to have this in my collection because, well, I like my Game Boy games. And I wanted to be able to play them enhanced. So Super Game Boy it is. But I think we are getting a little bit off topic there because a collection of Game Boy games, we'll have a look at them another day. Anyway, that's all we got time for. Back to the studio. And there you go. As you can see, not a big collection, but pretty interesting. I think you'll agree. Got some good games there, some alright games as well. But on the most part, I think it's a pretty good collection. And I'm happy to expand it, so you never know. We might find some more in the future. Anyway, now's all I've got time for is to say thanks for watching. I hope you did like this. If you did, remember to click that like button. Share it too so your friends will know some good games when they see them. And do subscribe for future videos because there will be more in the future. But until next time, hopefully next week if the weather starts calming down again, I'll have some more reviews for you. So see you later.